How are you doing?
It's my pleasure. I'm doing very well. Campaigning hard, and it's a pleasure to see you and have you here for the interview.
Oh, sitting here. So I guess we have.
And with in the company of your little boy too.
Thank you.
Who reminds me a lot of my own son. Almost the same age, almost the same build, and
wow.
He's very beautiful.
Children are beautiful.
They are.
So you've been with us since I guess 2007?
Since 2007, March 26, 2007, my first election in Laurier-Dorion.
Yes, so it's been quite a while. And how do you find the riding so far? And what improvements you have seen in your time?
We've been working very hard. You know, I mean, from the first day, I said to them, it's not a question about winning an election; it's a question of working with the citizens. I've made it a point to be very close to the citizens, very present at activities and opening the channels of communication. You know, since 2007, we've served over 3,500 citizens at the office with different questions, whether it be immigration or other questions relating to welfare, relating to different CSST files, Hydro-Quebec files, all kinds of issues that may arise, rental board, over 3,500 citizens. We've brought in approximately $150 million in investments to Laurier-Dorion, which includes park extension and Villeray. We've brought in 200 seniors intermediate houses. These are places where seniors can live and they receive services and health care. One of which is on Park Avenue between Jean Talon and Beaumont. It's a new one that went up that everybody knows. That's about 120 spots, but we have a total of about 200. We have 550 places in daycare. I mentioned daycare because you're here with your little boy, and I have a son in daycare, I have another baby on the way. Daycare is important to help the family, combine business and family. A lot of women today are in the workforce in order to complement their income. It's by choice, sometimes it's by necessity, but we have to be able to provide them spots. We've invested in a new Barclay School. We added an annex to Barclay School. We've added 14 double classrooms in Barclay School and a double gymnasium because we were missing classrooms and spaces for our students. We've brought in investments of over 30 million at the Jean Talon Hospital with a new emergency. And you know that's important because if something were to happen in Park Extension, the nearest hospital being Sacré-Cœur or the Jewish General, the Jean Talon Hospital is closer, but they didn't have an adequate emergency room. So we brought in over $30 million to do the emergency and to bring in different equipment and upgrade the hospital. Today it's one of the best hospitals in the region, especially for hip and knee replacement. So 200 social housing units for people who don't have sufficient means. And we know that the rents, there was a correction in the rental market, rent's much more expensive. We need to do more of that. We're very proud of what we've done so far. We've put in more than $10 million to repair the school buildings. You know, we had incidents with mold and different other such incidents in old school buildings. You know, Barclay School dates from the 1930s. These older buildings tend to have water infiltration. We brought in investments so our kids can study in a clear and healthy atmosphere.
That's nice.
So we're very proud of what we've done. We want to continue to work with the population. And I say, especially with all the various groups, you know, we're one of the most multi-ethnic ridings in Canada. But we also have, challenges. We've done very well, very proud of our record. We're going to continue to go forward with the priorities being healthcare, education, and the economy, work for our citizens.
And what about the social housing? Does it have any space for seniors?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, 200 of those units are in RI. We call them ressources intermédiaires, intermediate resources. These are basically residences for seniors where they receive services. They have orderlies on hand to help them eat, to help them take a bath, to help do their laundry, to help them clean their place. And at the same time, they also have agreements with the CLSC where they provide healthcare from more professional healthcare professionals such as nurses and doctors on the occasion where a doctor is necessary. So we basically have the seniors in a setting where they can, evolve with other seniors, 2, be safe in a residence, 3, be followed by doctors, nurses, and have the orderlies for the day-to-day care which a senior would need because they're not as mobile, they're not as autonomous. So we're very proud of what we've done so far.
Are there any language facilities for, let's say, Salvations?
Well, what we've attempted to do and what we say is that the needs of the clientele become the obligations of those who are running these sites. So, for example, the one that we have here, the Ressources Intermédiaires, there's a residence that we have in Park Extension, there's 120 beds. People come from Park Extension and the surrounding areas. So there are South Asians, there are some Greeks, but there are some French Canadians, there are some, it's a mixed crowd. We try and look at the clientele. Of course, we can't always have an interpreter on hand for one person who speaks one language. But as soon as there's like a critical mass of people, there's a preference made by, just like the CLSC, to hire people who speak those languages. And of course I invite and I invite at the same time the South Asian community, men or women who are interested in the health field, to continue to apply for nursing, orderly positions, as doctors. And the more we have on the market, the more it'll be easy to send them, because the needs are not only in the Park Extension. You have them in LaSalle, you have them in the South, in the West Island, you have them on the South Shore even today. But we need to make sure we have professionals that are working who speak the South Asian languages. The more we have, the easier it's going to be to provide the services.
Okay, so I guess you've covered quite a bit in this short time. And I wanted to know, how about some businesses like entrepreneurs? Mr. Bhandari is here from Manoranjan Center. You've been working for the campaign for Mr. Gerry. How do you find him?
Well, I feel, what I say, that I feel upbeat, you know, and each time since 2007 I'm with him and calling the different Urdu speaking, Punjabi, Hindi speaking and different peoples, and compel them, you know, and then come forward and vote for Gerry Sklavounos, because at this present moment what's going on here, the businesses are very down. And the people are fears, you know, and they're scared of what's going to happen if this PQs come up. So we are working hard, and this moment it's taking U-turns, you know, gradually basis and positively for Liberal Party of Quebec. And I'm not only hopefully, hope is something else, but it seems to me that we're going to have the majority. At the last minute, we're going to go. And that's going to happen, but we're going to end up with a very strongly, the way it's going on, you know, and negative.
So you are very positive that
I'm very
you're going to have Gerry,
positive
and you believe in him, that he's done very good work?
Very, very good, and plus he's next to my store here, and I'm here every day, 7 days a week, and all the 33 days going to be here. And that's
but
the way.
Over the time that he's been here since 2007, how do you find him?
Well, I find him is very well and very active in all the Indian community and South Asian community, and he's a plus point. Not only one plus, is a plus, and plus is become scrambled. You know, plus and plus. You know.
I have to say, with the citizens, small businesses that I have in the riding, and the volunteers such as Mr. Bhandari, I can't help but being upbeat myself. You know, on a daily basis we work hard, we get tired, we hear lots of things in the media. You could have a tendency to get a little bit discouraged about something, but the campaign started off very well. I'm actually very impressed with the way Mr. Couillard has come out at the campaign. We were hearing different things at the beginning, but Mr. Couillard has shown his detractors that he's able to lead, to provide sharp messages, that he's ready to be the Premier of Quebec. And I have this fantastic support at the base from volunteers and small businessmen and citizens in Park Extension that keep me going. And this is what I was talking about. This riding is unlike no other for the sense of community it provides. And we know that although we have different backgrounds, different mother tongues, maybe different religious beliefs, that we live in Park Extension and in Laurier-Dorion generally, because it's more and more diverse in Villeray too. We live alongside each other, we do business alongside each other, our kids and our grandkids go to school together, and we live in peace. And we don't buy into this message of the charter that the Parti Québécois is attempting to spread. And it's unfortunate, you know, because I just heard recently that my adversary from the PQ, he came to do door-to-door in Park Extension and refused to speak English. So I'm just thinking, is this the priority of a government to bring back linguistic strife, social strife? Unfortunately, it seems the only way that PQ can do politics is to set people against each other.
That's what they've been doing all along.
What a lack of courtesy for the candidate of the PQ to come into this neighborhood and to refuse to speak English to people who prefer and are more comfortable in English.
Yes.
If the truth is that he wants to get his message across, he has to make an effort to speak to English, to speak English to the people who cannot communicate in French. Where people can communicate in French, of course we're going to speak French. We're very proud of the fact that French is the official language. But in some cases people are not comfortable. It's sad that as a matter of politics, he refuses to speak English, like it's a kind of threat to the Francophone identity and to the identity of Quebec, when in essence, the French Canadians that I speak to all want their children to be bilingual. They all want their children to be able to communicate in both languages. Of course they respect their language, of course they respect their history, but English they always consider, and they say that in French they use the word atout. C'est un atout. It's an advantage to be able to speak English. These are the people that I know. Unfortunately, as we see, the candidate, like the party, is a little bit disconnected from reality.
It happened 2 days ago. It happened in my store.
Oh my God.
It happened with a Tambi. Okay, the gentleman came and he said, "I'm from Parti Québécois." Okay, and he presented his flyer, and Tambi speaking English, and he don't want to respond in English, in French, like his son, and he's communicated.
Right.
So, and one thing, all the things done, but what I want to say about Gerry is that he don't have no egos. Okay. So he's gonna to the earth with everybody. He's like friendly, and that's the most important thing in the human life. You know, when you are friendly with each and everyone, people love you. But if you try to be a little aside, that's not the way.
I grew up here in Park Extension. I lived here for 23 years. I identify to the people, the neighborhood. It's like being home.
Right.
You know, people know that I don't live in Park Extension. Although I don't live very far. I live like 5 minutes from Park Extension by car. But people know that this neighborhood is in my heart. It's the neighborhood. I have all my fondest memories, and my first memories, I came here when I was 5 years old. My first memories are from Park Extension, playing in the schoolyard, playing soccer, playing hockey. My elementary school, which is Barclay, which, you know, I was just mentioning earlier how we invested money to make the school bigger. That's my elementary school. This is my neighborhood. So there's no point in me representing people trying to pretend or trying to be something else other than I am. People, I think, elected me and re-elected me twice since then because I represent the neighborhood and because I understand the needs and the concerns. So I've always been this way. I'm going to continue to be this way. And like I say, in this particular time, when political parties and the PQ and Madame Marois are attempting to divide us, we need strong voices at the National Assembly, and we have to come out, and I would say we have to participate more strongly than ever before to send a message to this government, especially in one of the most multi-ethnic ridings, Laurier-Dorion, in Quebec, that we find this way of doing politics unacceptable, insulting, and you know what? There was no problem to be fixed. We live alongside here Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, Christians, Catholic, Orthodox. We live alongside each other, and we have no problem. And the PQ has attempted to create a problem, and even with them attempting to create a problem, we still have no problem. The problem we have is with the PQ, and on the 7th of April, we have to get them out of power, because they're hurting our reputation abroad. You know, I've been hearing people abroad saying, what's going on in Quebec? This is not the Quebec we know, and they haven't been good for business. Basically, the plan, all the projects that Mr. Charest had put in place to bring investments to Quebec are frozen solid, and no investment, very few job creation opportunities. We lost 25,000 jobs just in the month of February. We have 29,000 people who have left to go to Toronto and other places in Canada. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to make a decision. We cannot have the services that we're entitled to have, like healthcare, education, and these daycare spots, and the seniors' residence, unless we bring investment to Quebec. And the PQ is ideal for bringing investment, to sending investment outside Quebec.
That's true.
That's what they're good at. We needed a liberal government to bring investment back to Quebec. A government doesn't create jobs in the private sector, but a government does create the climate for businesses and private investment to come to a province and to invest. They create the climate, and unfortunately, the climate that PQ has created is a climate that has had the opposite effect. People do not want to integrate here, to immigrate here, people do not want to invest here, and a lot of people who have been here for a little while have decided that maybe they're looking elsewhere. and I find it's an unfortunate state of affairs, and we want to turn that around. And as you know, this campaign is turning around with every day that passes,
Yes.
because many people were saying things like, oh, Madame Marois seems to have an advantage. I say to everybody, in a given period of time, what may look like an advantage may turn into a disadvantage, and things change quickly in politics. And I think we all feel the momentum shifting against Madame Marois in favor of the Liberal Party, and we're going to keep that going till the 7th of April.
That is good. Yeah, that sounds good. It'll be nice to have you back and keep the community moving forward and stuff. And it was interesting when you mentioned earlier that you have people coming for all kinds of things, even like people for whether they need help with Hydro-Quebec or
CSST,
something.
we do all.
Yeah, so you deal with everybody who comes here to your office?
We see everybody, we speak to everybody. Of course, if it's an issue that is outside my responsibility, sometimes they come for a federal immigration matter. We have an excellent relationship with the office of the MP.
So
Justin
you still guide
Trudeau.
them?
We'll still see them, we'll still talk to them, and of course then we'll refer them to the office and we still conduct the follow-up. If it's a municipal matter, some people come to see us with issues of trees, power lines, except things that are more municipal. Well, then we refer them to Mary Darrows. We have a working relationship and a good friendship, the three of us. There's a synergy that's working on here, and this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it, because at the end of the day we work together, and it's to the advantage of the citizens. So we have an open relationship, we speak openly, we talk openly, and the citizens, I'm asking for the citizens this time around. I say to them, it's the most important election in a long time. We have to send a message to this government. We have a good thing going. We had a good economic situation in Quebec under Mr. Charest. We had people were confident about their future, and unfortunately, just in a matter of over 18 months, people are pessimistic. Madame Marois has managed to make people pessimistic about the future, turn people against each other, talk about everything that's not important. This charter is absolutely not important. It's absolutely not a priority.
I just consider it's not a charter of values. No values in there.
And there's no values in there.
Oh.
And I mean, you know what? We've always believed that men and women are equal. We've always believed that the state is religious is neutral in its religious beliefs. It has no religious beliefs. We've always said that reasonable accommodations have to be reasonable. We can't ask people to do unreasonable things. But we've always said that there's no reason why a woman who wears a hijab, or why a doctor who wears a kippah, or why someone who wants to work at a government counter who wears a turban should not be allowed to work. There's no reason for that. If anything, this government should put forward policies to integrate minorities and not to push them further away from the public service. We already know that minorities are underrepresented in the public service. And here we have the PQ pushing them outside. And my adversary from the PQ, who used to work in a previous life with people on unemployment, and he said he used to work for workers. Today he's out here speaking only French to people who don't understand French, and joined the party that wants to kick people out of their work because they're wearing religious symbols, instead of having his priority to give people work, meaningful work, so they can integrate in society. I understand now why many groups that used to work with him in the past have disassociated themselves from him and are not supporting him, one of which is the MAC, which is an organization that used to works for the defense of people on unemployment. They dissociated themselves from him because they believed he's joined a political party that no longer defends workers. So these are the questions he's going to have to answer. But unfortunately, if he comes to Park Extension, where a lot of people speak English, and refuses to speak English, even to get his message across, I think he has a very, very wrong attitude. It's not by speaking, you don't hurt French by speaking English.
True.
And a lot of people here are from South Asia. They're older people. They haven't yet perfected their French. They speak better English. All their children, they're all perfectly trilingual. Some of them speak 4 languages. So he has nothing to worry about the children. But he should at least make an effort with the more senior people who speak only English. He should show respect and try and communicate to them. And if, this is the only way we can work together. And if he shows that respect, I'm sure people will show the respect back in making an effort to speak in French. But to come here and act like he's the language police, this is not the way to do it.
To conclude, what message would you have for the South Asian community?
I say to the South Asian community that we've built a relationship over 7 years in this riding. Maybe my first election, I may not have been well known by everybody in the South Asian community. But I think after 7 years, I think after 7 years, people got to know me.
Of course.
They got to live alongside me, see me work, go to the organizations, support the organizations financially, others, do interviews in the media to reach the people, and I thank you for the opportunity, for the Bharat Times, for this opportunity to send the message out again. Work alongside with people on the issues that matter, and all I'm saying to them is, we've done very good work. Let's continue to do this good work together. Let's reject the type of politics that will divide us.
Right.
We're attached to our Canadian Federation. We came here from all over the world to be in a Montreal and a Quebec that's part of Canada, because it's the most wonderful country in the world. So many people from abroad want to come to this country, and it's unfortunate that some people want to try and break it up. We have an obligation to stand together and to send a clear message to these people that we're not going to let them tear apart Canada, and we're not going to get involved in petty politics about language and petty politics about religion. We have to concentrate on what unites us, and I want to continue to do that with the citizens, the ladies and gentlemen, and the children and the younger people in Laurier-Dorion, and work on building a better future for all of us.
Oh, that's exactly what we're looking forward as well. It's the public, and
today is especially holy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I will be celebrating Holi.
And we're gonna be in the Ramji temple with you and everybody.
Absolutely, we'll all be there together.
No?
You see, these holidays are my holidays as a representative and as a friend of the South Asian people. These holidays are my holidays. We are one big family here in Laurier-Dorion. This is the message we want to send on the April 7th. We need every man, woman, and a younger person that's over 18 years old to cast their ballot and send a big, resounding no to Pauline Marois and the politics of division, especially from Park Extension in Villeray, which are two of the most diverse neighborhoods in Quebec. We need to send her a message on the 7th of April all together.
And also, congratulations. Today we are sitting on 16, and 10 days from now, we're going to be 26th of March, and you're going to be 6 years going to be complete of your politics.
So 7th year, yeah, 7 years.
7 years, 6 years.
Thank you so much.
7 years completed. You know?
They went by very quickly, I find too. They went by very quickly. It was like it was yesterday when I was elected for the first time, and I do it with as much passion today as I did it back then. I haven't lost any of my combativeness. If anything else, I have a little bit more at a time when we have to rise to the occasion to defend our people and our fundamental rights and liberties. I will be there, and I'm asking everybody to join me for another battle on the 7th of April. We send a strong message to the PQ, and we have a liberal majority government in Quebec.
Yes, let's go and vote for our candidate Gerry Sklavounos from the riding of Laurier-Dorion on 7th of April.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.